I decided maybe I should hide my messy office. If I was a real YouTuber, I would probably put on makeup, but then I would have to go buy some makeup, or I could steal it from my daughter Julia, who has enough makeup for a small kind of ugly country. But yeah, here we are. What is average? We talk about somebody being average or below average, but what do we actually mean by that? Well, there are, in fact, three very common measures of average. I'm going to tell you right now in your textbook. I put that on the website too. There's a lot of stuff about the tri-mean, which I've been a statistician for 40 years. I've never used the tri-mean, trim mean, geometric mean. You can skip all that stuff. To be honest, the three main types of measures of central tendency that people talk about are the mean, the median, the mode. When we're talking about a distribution, a mathematical statistical distribution, the two main characteristics people talk about are what is average and how much do people in general differ from the average. And so that is central tendency and dispersion or variability. So right now we'll talk about central tendency, later variability. The mean is generally the preferred measure when the data are not skewed. The median is generally the preferred measure when the data are skewed, and the mode is not preferred at all, but sometimes it's what you got. It's your only option. So what is the average? Remember we talked about that summation notation? The mean takes into account every score in the distribution. As you probably remember from some math class or other, to get the mean, you add up all the numbers in a sample and divide by the number of people in the sample. And in mathematical terms, that is the sum of x sub I divided by n. Now, if we have a skewed distribution like this, say you have 19 people are unemployed and one guy making $20 million, then the mean income is $1 million, right? Because it would be 20 million divided by 20. And so, yeah, everybody has a Waikiki penthouse, right? But the truth is, 19 out of those 20 people are not doing all that great. The median is the point that half the people are higher and half are lower, the 50th percentile. So for our group of 20 people, the median income is $0. In that case, with that very skewed type of distribution, the median is a better representation of the average than the mean. Now, do you understand why when you have a skewed distribution, the median is preferred? Because if you have one person or anything, it could be anything, scores that's very much different from the others, it can skew the mean that you get, and you get a number like that $1 million mean income that is not at all representative of the population. It doesn't give you a true measure of what is average. Find the mean with Excel is really easy. You type equals average, open parentheses, select the first cell in your column numbers, drag down to the last, and type close parentheses. Hit enter. Now you have the mean. Or you could just add up all the numbers in a calculator and divide by the number of numbers you have. You can sort your data in order to find the median. If you don't have a lot of data, that's an easy way. There's 56 scores in this distribution. It turned out, if you look at it in Excel, this is my sample from the questions about how many people are in your family and how many people are like family. With 56 scores, the 28th and 29th scores would be the ones in the middle. The 28th score has 27 below it. The 29th score has 27 above it. And it just so happens both those scores are 5. Median is 5. If you have an odd number, it's super easy. If you have 11 scores, then the sixth one has 5 below and 5 above. The other way, you can create cumulative frequency distribution, which we covered in the last video, and see where the 50th percentile falls. Well, this is 45% of the people fall below this. 61% of the people fall below 5, so 50 must fall in right in here, right? Because it's above 4 and the 50th percentile is below 6, so it's 5. Look where the 50th percentile falls, that's your median. Or if you're using Excel, you could type equals median, open parentheses, select the first cell in your column numbers, drag all the way down the last cell, type a close parentheses, and hit enter. And it will give you the median. And any way you do it, you're going to get 5 with that particular sample of data. The mode is the most common score. That's pretty darn easy to do. It's the only measure of central tendency that can be used with categorical data. And the question, are you a member of my family, no or yes? The mode was no. When we talk about the average American is a woman who lives in the suburbs, who is a 45. I don't know if it's 45, but the 45 would be the mean, and the woman and living in the suburbs would be the mode. If you have any frequency distribution, just find the score that occurs the most often. Now, in our case, it just turned out that the mean and median and mode were all the same score. That's not always going to be the case, but in this particular example, it turned out to be so. Mode, just what is the highest count? That's it. That's your mode. Pretty darn easy.